Yo, what's up? This your boy Derek Branch, your Strike7Sports.com. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. I'm joined by my co-host Brian Bowder, Leo and Seaberry. This is another episode of Strike 7 Sports Podcast. So we're gonna dive right into it. It's finally here. Playoffs have arrived. The everything was settled. In the week 18, Seattle got in at the last minute. Miami Dolphins got in at the last minute, but everything else was pretty much situated in past couple of weeks in regards to playoff seating. So with that being said, we're just gonna dive right into it and we're gonna break down, preview, and give us a score for every playoff game that will be out this weekend, starting first with the New York Giants heading to Minnesota, Minneapolis to take on the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota's third seed, while the Giants are the sixth seed. So, how you think it's going to play out with this game between Minnesota and New York?
I think it'll be similar to I think it'll be similar to how the first one was kind of a shootout type game, and
Yeah,
I think it'll be close. Um, Key for the Giants will be, I think, Daniel Jones in his first big moment as a pro, like big time moment as a pro, like him and Saquon Barkley. I think those two will set the tone for how the game goes for the Giants in their phone. Whereas for the Vikings, can Kirk Cousins avoid that big mistake? And can the defense step up and do better than they did this season? That was really that was the weakest part of the Vikings was their defense. So I think I think the Giants keep up with them, like similar to the last game. But I think the Vikings, instead of it being as close as it was, I think they win between 7 to 10 points. I think Kirk Cousins has experience in the playoffs. Um, he's won a playoff games before, well, a game before. He has
game.
experience doing that. Yeah, a game. You may remember that game, but
Yeah, I remember that game. Push
but
off.
but the point of the matter is he has a playoff experience, and even though he hasn't won the playoff game before, like I said, he's been there. I feel that um, this is a new look Vikings team, and I think a great story ends on was it Sunday.
Yeah.
And I think the Vikings, who I actually predicted to go to the Super, that's my Super Bowl team to come out the NFC. I think they take care of business in part one.
All right. What you got, Brian?
Um, yeah, this is probably the game that I feel like that's gonna end up in an upset. I got the uh, I got the Giants winning by field goal. I got them winning 23-20. The Vikings are frauds, and even though they've won close games, they've also can show they can be beaten by anybody. And I just think this will be Daniel Jones' coming out party. Saquon will have a solid game, but Daniel Jones will make a few throws late to win the game.
All right. And as far as I go, I'm gonna go with the Brian as well. I think this is gonna be an upset. This is gonna be an upset. Minnesota, I mean, you're 10-0 in one score games this season, but I think it's gonna run out eventually. And to me, that's kind of dangerous. It's good that you're undefeated again in one score games, but that shows that you got a lot of vulnerabilities. Especially on your defense. And I think this is a game that you finally get caught up. And I think the Giants will win this game by a score of 27-24 by a field goal, and they defeat the Minnesota Vikings. But I want to ask y'all this too, though. If Minnesota loses this game, how long do you think they should continue to run it back with Kirk Cousins as a quarterback?
Um,
Uh,
oh,
I got yeah. Go ahead. You were talking.
I don't think. I think they should keep him. I think he's a solid quarterback, and I don't think that okay. Historically, in big games, he's kind of been the reason why teams have lost. But I think this time it'll be the defense. If they lose this game, I don't think it'll be because of Kirk Cousins. So I think if they do lose, though, you may look at drafting somebody, but I don't think he's had one of the best years of his career. I don't think he's the problem. I don't think you look to move off of him. So I'd say within the next 2 years, though, they have to be in the NFC Championship game. Once they retool their defense in the offseason, the offense is already there. They need team needs to be in the NFC Championship game within 2 years, or I think, or you look other directions. And by the way, I didn't. Excuse me, I didn't predict the score. Final score: Vikings 30, Giants 27. Well, Giants
Oh,
24 this time. I don't think it's gonna be a field
24.
goal. 24, yeah, 30-24.
Okay, we'll see. But
Mm.
yeah, I think that might be that might turn out to be one of the best games of the postseason, man. Because Minnesota always in games which filled with drama. So we'll see how it play out. All right, next game we're gonna talk about is the 49ers and the Seahawks. Um, San Francisco, you know, I was on a 10-game winning streak. That quarterback rookie Brock Purdy picked up the slack from Jimmy G after he went down with that injury. They played Seattle, who finally back into the playoff hunt without Russell Wilson, and has proven to show that they are winning this trade right now. So, what do y'all got in this game?
For this one, I got the 49ers winning by 10. I'll probably go 31-21. The 49ers arguably are the best team in the NFL right now. And because they have such a QB-friendly system, it's not been too difficult for Brock Purdy to come in and have an impact. But although he has played very well. And also their defense is not arguably, I believe it is the best defense in the NFL. So the question to me is not if they win this game. The question is how far can they go with Brock Purdy as their quarterback. But they should beat the Seahawks, and I like them by 10.
Okay. I can't hear you, man.
Okay.
Oh, hey, yeah, I'm going with the Seattle Seahawks. I think this will be the upset. This is the upset of the playoffs right now. Like I won in the first game. I think the Seahawks set a tone. The way you teams get into the playoffs historically, they slip in. A lot of times, those teams end up doing good in the playoffs. Like they end up doing something. Like it's some teams, historically that are stuck in late. Yeah, and you get all you take. All you need to do is get in there. That's all you need to do. And I know San Francisco's hot right now. They the hot thing, but Brock Purdy in the playoffs, we're gonna have to show him something. And Gino in the playoffs going to show something. But I just surprisingly, y'all, I trust Gino more than Brock Purdy in the playoffs. And I know
Really?
both players have never been there, but Gino's never been on this stage. But I'm gonna go with the Seattle Seahawks to win. I'm gonna go. I think it's a low scoring game. I'm gonna go 21-20 Seattle by 1 point, and I think it'll be one of the bigger upsets.
So you got Seattle win this game?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that's gonna be a shocker right there. All right. So my thing is this, man. Which team is gonna stop Brock Purdy from doing whatever he wants to do back there in the pocket? This dude has came in and just sit back there, make plays, move around like he's a 10-year veteran, and he's not. He's Mr. Relevant. He was the last pick in the draft, and it's gonna come a time to where he's gonna have to win it for the 49ers. If he's down by a large deficit, he's gonna have to put the team on his back and win it for him. Will that be this week against the Seahawks? Maybe, but I think you know I think they get by for this week. I think they win the game. I think they beat Seattle this week. Be interesting to see what adjustments Pete Carroll come up with, or what they'll make the from the previous two games they played them, and to see how they can like disrupt Purdy. Want to interesting to see how Purdy responds in the playoffs. This is different. Setting right here. This ain't the regular season. Teams. You know, seem to play different. Scheme different, do their things differently compared to what they do in the regular season. So I think they'll get by. They'll win this game by I would say 31 to 24. 34-24. San Francisco over Seattle. So I think.
You think it'll be exactly about 10 points?
Yeah, I think they give them about 10 points, man.
I think it's
Division opponent.
those
So they
Seattle,
know each other.
they do know each other. It's very familiar, and Seattle has very good corners. The corners are pretty good, and I think while the 49ers are getting Debo Samuel back this week, that's big for them. Um, I I just feel that Pete Carroll finds a way to get it done against the Kyle Shanahan. And both coach obviously Pete Carroll got a Super Bowl champion, and Kyle Shanahan just was in the NFC Championship game. So I think this time I think Pete finds some of his old tricks and they get it done.
Okay. So do y'all think they're gonna Seattle's gonna bring back Geno next season?
Yeah, I think they do. The question is what price it is, but I believe they do.
What about the situation in San Francisco?
Everyone's back except for Jimmy G. Jimmy G goes somewhere else. Purdy's back. Trey Lance is back. And depending on Trey Lance's health, Purdy may start a few games. But if Trey Lance plays and it isn't as effective, I wouldn't be surprised if they just stick with Purdy. But we'll see.
Yeah, what you think?
The Brock Purdy era has begun. He's their starter. If they win the Super Bowl, if let's just say after they win the Super Bowl, let's just say they win the Super Bowl, how could you justify him not being a starter?
You can't.
You can't. And
He's a starter.
and you can't. And you, okay. And people would say he's a system quarterback, and system quarterbacks don't really win Super Bowls like that. Like, I mean, it's happened, of course, in history, but it ain't too many in this time and era with a guy like Mahomes and Allen and Jalen Hurts. Brock, at some point, we're gonna have to give Brock Purdy his credit because you, somebody can set you, people can set you up to make all the right plays, but if you don't make the plays yourself, then there's no, you have to give him his credit. That's all I'm gonna say. Give the man his credit. He's played his butt off.
Yeah.
And if he and DB, I would say have Purdy as a starter. I don't know if moving Lance because if they invested a lot in Trey Lance, I would if they win the Super Bowl, I would low key see what his market is.
Who
See,
Lance?
so you at least can ask DB. Would you be interested if the Saints let's say they don't draft the quarterback? Would you be interested in having Trey Lance on your team?
Yeah, but I wanna know who's my offensive coordinator,
Uh,
because I don't trust him with this staff, man.
uh,
But I wouldn't mind having Trey Lance though.
okay. So let's
Yeah.
see. All right.
So we'll see. But I think that's a chance that I mean it depends on how well Purdy does in the playoffs. They'll determine, what they do. But if they lose this week, I think, they may bring Trey Lance back, man. They'll compete for the starting job. But um in regards to Gino, I think he comes back with Seattle. Because with those after he put up those type of numbers, man, I just don't think they're gonna let him just walk away and they go draft a quarterback. I just don't think they're gonna do that. So I think they're gonna bring him back. It depends if he's gonna be a bridge or not. But I think they bring him back. They got extra picks in the first round they can use to continue to improve that roster. So I think he comes back. Jimmy G, I think he's gone. Trey Lance could be gone, but we'll see. But right now is the odds are that favorable for Purdy becoming the starter in the future. So we'll see.
Right.
All right, so next game we're gonna talk about is the Jacksonville Jaguars hosting the LA Chargers in Jacksonville. The Jaguars were able to defeat the Tennessee Titans in the last game of the season to win the AFC South title. They're back in the playoff conversation for the first time since 2017. That was the last time they were in the playoffs. They played in the AFC Championship game against New England, and I think all of us know how that went out. They would play it out, but they're back in the playoffs against the LA Chargers, a team that's really good, that's playing some really good football lately. Defense playing a lot better. They have a really good quarterback over there, Justin Herbert, and some weapons to work with as well. I think this could be a really good. I think this is like an underrated, a low key, really good playoff game. And how you think it's gonna play out?
Um, I think this could be a really like a setting of the of eras, a battle of the eras type of game, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Because you got that two. Trevor Lawrence, 23 years old quarterback. Justin Herbert, 24-year-old quarterback. You got two quarterbacks that are this is gonna be a battle. I think, in my opinion. So I'm really excited about this one, DB. It's gonna be like you said, two faces. I think potential faces of the league future. I think Jacksonville being there is a great story. It's a special story, especially the year that they've suffered from having in the past. They I think the first team to make the playoffs after losing, I think, is it 14 games in back-to-back seasons. They're the first team
yeah,
ever to do that. Very impressive. I'm looking forward to Trevor Lawrence stepping up on the big stage against a okay Chargers, but inconsistent Chargers defense, and also Jacksonville's defense. They've been really good as of late. So seeing if they can step up against a very good quarterback in Herbert, so that'll be very good to see too. So that's what I'm excited to see. I'm just excited to see this game. It's gonna be a barn burner, but I think Jacksonville pulls it out. Just it was a blowout the first time, but the Chargers didn't have. I don't think they had. A lot of their players weren't healthy at the time. So let's see now how it'll look if everybody's healthy. So I'm gonna go with I still go with the Jacksonville 28-27. That's a very
all
close game.
right, okay. Chicago, Brian.
Yeah. This is probably one of my favorite games to watch this weekend. I'm gonna give the slight edge to the Jags because they're at home. I like what Doug Peterson has done this season, and I think the most underrated part of this game is that I was watching NFL Live and they're discussing it. The Jaguars' defense, they won the game for them against the Titans, and I think they're gonna have a big role in this outcome too. Really, a lot of young, really solid players on that defense, and Mike Caldwell is their defensive coordinator. He came from the Bucks, so he was around great defensive players, a great defensive system, and he's brought that over here in Jacksonville. And Trevor Lawrence will have to play a little better, but I like the Jags to advance. I picked them 31-28.
Got Jacksonville winning.
Yes.
All right. All right. I say it like this, man. Um, good game featuring two really good quarterbacks. Well, two quarterbacks that have a lot of a lot of promise, a lot of upside. Both were taken high in the draft. Herbert was taken high. Um, Lawrence was a number one pick. Um, doing dude is doing playing pretty well these last couple of days. Like I told you before, Brian. They're gonna run the division next 3 to 5 years. They're gonna run away with that division, the AFC South. But as for this game, I think the honeymoon is over. The story, of Jacksonville turning around, that ends this week against the LA Chargers. It was nice, but I got the Chargers winning this game. Playing, like I said, they've been playing really good defense these last couple of weeks. I think that's gonna continue into the postseason. I got to win this game by a score of, I would say, 31-21. Chargers win. Herbie have a big game. That's what I think.
Man, I just feel that I just don't know, man. This Chargers defense is so inconsistent, but they've been playing good of late, though. They have been playing good of late. But also, I have to look into the fact of the matter is their first game, like I said, there was a lot of injuries, and I'll give Jacksonville, I'll give the Chargers passing rate. They beat them 33-13. That was a big damn. But like you said, undermanned team. Let's see what they do on Saturday. Yeah, Saturday or Sunday. I think it's Saturday. But anywho, this weekend, I'm just excited. One thing I do want to looking forward to though, um, Travis Etienne. I think he'll be a big part. Like, there's going to be a key X factor. How he plays. So he kind of had a up and down kind
Yeah.
of year, and it's kind of his basically his rookie year. It's been had some real highs, some kind of where is he at type moments. But I think he scores a big time touchdown, and I think that he comes through for Jacksonville at home, and that crowd is going to be rocking. DB. It's going to be. They haven't had playoff football in 5 years. So well,
Yep.
six, 5 to 6 years. So it's going to be the atmosphere is going to be great. So I think that'll give Jacksonville the edge right there.
Okay. We'll see, man. I mean, I don't know, man. I just think your boy ready to go turn the corner on this game, man. Herbert. I think the coach, really got something to prove. People been, you know, always bring up these, Sean Payton rumors coming to LA, and that has to like motivate him, man, to like, let me shut these people up. So I think the Chargers are gonna win this game on the road, man. So we'll see. All right, next game we got, man. We're gonna talk about is the another rematch between division opponents, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals hosting the Baltimore Ravens this week. Division opponents, Baltimore is still up in the air if Lamar Jackson is going to play or not. One report I heard all day is that he's playing, while the other one saying that they don't even know. But if Lamar is not playing, good luck for the Cincinnati, the Baltimore Ravens, because if they want to do anything in this game, in the playoffs, and period, Lamar has to be on the center. But even with Lamar on the center, I still don't have them beating the Cincinnati Bengals. I got Cincinnati winning this game by a score of 35-24 over Baltimore. If Lamar get in there, if Lamar's playing, I think he can make some things interesting. But I just don't think he has the support, the right support around him to like really, put stress on Cincinnati. That defense, can only do so much. So I got Cincinnati moving on in the divisional round. What do y'all got?
I like Cincinnati to move on, regardless of where they're from my place or not. I make case Cincinnati is the favorite out of the AFC. They're the most complete team. They have the passing game, they have the running game, they have a good defense. One thing they don't have is home field advantage. Um, but I think that because they have a run game and defense that travels, and Joe Burrow is arguably uh, a strong candidate for MVP. So I like the Bengals. I like the Bengals big. When say big by 2 touchdowns, I like them 35-21.
Okay.
Joseph Burrow is that's all I gotta say. Joseph Burrow, man, the legend. I think he's gonna have a big time. They're gonna feast think that was fees. I think if Lamar comes back, the game's close. I think. See, my final score. That's the problem. I can't really know what it'll be if I don't know if Lamar playing.
Right. I got you.
So it's kind of incomplete. But I do think the Bengals win regardless. But it's like the score. If Lamar plays 35-30, I
35,
think
30? You give him that
I
much
think
touchdowns?
I think he can make his ability to stand plays, and the Bengals defense ain't great. Like they not great by any stretch of imagination. So scoring points wouldn't be the problem for me. Like saying they can't score. No matter can they stop? Can the Ravens stop them? Can the Ravens stop Burrow and them? And I don't think they can do that at the end of the day. So
Gotcha.
that's why I lean towards them being a like a high scoring game. So
But go ahead.
yeah, but I just feel that they're arriving. I think they're arriving. DB, they're arriving.
The
The
Bengals.
the
Yeah.
Bengals they've been in the door. We like when I'm saying when I say arriving, I mean in terms to where, you know, like taking them seriously as they can win a Super Bowl if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like people because people are saying having their reservations about them, and I have my reservations about them, DB. But I
Right.
honestly feel that this team is in a position to where they can go back to back in terms of appearances, and I think it starts in Baltimore. It'll start against Baltimore on this weekend. So without Lamar, I think it'll be 30 to like 14. But with Lamar, 35-30.
Shoot, without Lamar, I think it's gonna be in the 40s.
Whew.
I think it'll be in the 40s, bro, because they can't do nothing, man. Man, it's bad, bro. And
Mhm.
I don't blame Lamar for you know, sitting on the injury. I don't blame him.
Yep. Kind of how like Kawhi Leonard. You remember how Kawhi, it's a different sport, but same cuz how
Yeah,
Kawhi sat through that injury.
yeah.
Yeah.
But here's the thing though about Cincinnati. I know a lot of people, the fans, their fan base, and the team overall. They're upset at how the way things turned out for the whole seating situation. They can't get no, they can't get home field advantage,
Mhm.
and all that stuff like that. But the Bengals are a team that could like go on the road and win. They did
Mhm.
it last year, so that really the elements don't really, I think in my opinion don't really affect them if they go to another place and play. So I think that they're a good football team, and the Bills want more of my pick. I think they're still on my pick. They still are my pick to come out of the AFC, man. But the Bengals are intriguing, man. They can't. They hungry. People thought it was gonna be a Super Bowl, hangover, and they might not make the playoffs and stuff like that. But they proving people wrong, man. And the scary part about it is that they're not even them guys still on like rookie deals, man. You know,
Mhm.
I
Yep.
think the only guy they paying is like Joe Mixon
And,
and
and Tyler
Lyle
Boyd.
Collins. Yeah, they're not nobody's really gotten a payday yet, so
Yep.
they'll be a factor for a while. You know what I'm saying? But I think they win this game, man, and I wouldn't be surprised they go back to the Super Bowl. So, but I think they dominate Lamar this week. Well, not Lamar, but the Ravens this week. And this may be the last time we see Lamar in the Ravens uniform. We don't know, because this thing with Lamar is changing by the week. But you're hearing stuff being leaked every day, every day about Lamar. Like the latest one is that the Jets are going to be interested in Lamar Jackson. So we'll see how it plays out. All right, man. Moving right along, we got another rematch that will be happening in the playoffs in the AFC. AFC East is the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins. Now, a little history on this. These two teams is that the Bills, back in the day had some, really good players, Thurman Thomas and Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, Bruce Smith. But the Dolphins had Dan Marino. And I used to hear from a lot of people, Dolphins fans, is that Thurman Thomas was their weakness, their Achilles heel. Yeah, he was he had a lot of really some successful games against the Dolphins. So they meet again in this rematch. From the a few weeks ago when they played in the snow. Miami had a lead in this game, but couldn't hold it. Buffalo eventually took over and won the game. I believe they won the AFC East that night, but they play him again in the rematch. Tua is, from what I heard, last report is that he is still in stage 3 of the concussion protocol process. And if that's the case, I think it's going to be and Teddy Bridgewater has to start. No disrespect to Bridgewater, but this is a layup for the Bills if Tua can't play. And with that being said, I got Miami win. I got Buffalo win this game. By I would say at least it's at home 38 to 17.
Oh, I'm gonna go. If it's Teddy, this is another game to where who quarterback is matters. Like if Teddy's playing, I'm going with Buffalo big, like 37-17. If it's Tua, keep in mind the first two games have been close. With Buffalo winning the first one, Miami winning the first one, and Buffalo winning by 3 on their last one. So the game's a bit close. Like when they were fully healthy, Miami's kept up with Buffalo, but they're just not healthy. Waddle's banged up, Tyreek Hill's banged up, and it might just be too many injuries that they can't overcome. So I just think they catching them at a bad time, and they really just stumbled. Keep in mind before they beat the Jets, they were coming off 5 straight losses. So they have a little momentum coming into the playoffs, but they haven't been winning games like that. So I'm I'm going to have to take the mindset of I'm going to go with Buffalo, and I think with Tua, let's presume Tua plays. I'd say 35 to 20. I'd say 35 to 21.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. This is a really intriguing game. Number one, I don't think Tua is going to play for the rest of the season. I just think the concussion issue he's having is just too risky. A lot of doctors I've seen that I respect have said it's probably best to hold him out. I think that's what the Dolphins will do. But their season won't last much longer. I like the Bills by double digits at home. Continue the momentum. Um, I like them 31 17. Actually, there's a chance Skylar Thompson could start. So I don't know if Bridgewater is better enough where he can play, but it won't matter in the end. Look, the Dolphins make the playoffs was nice. If two had been healthy, who knows how far they could have gone. But uh, you'll take the playoffs. But unfortunately, your season's gonna end pretty quickly.
Okay. So all right. So we all in agreement that Miami season is ending this weekend against the Buffalo Bills down in the cold weather down in Orchard Park, New York. So with that being said, if you're Miami, are you running this thing back with Tua next season, or are you gearing up for Lamar, or a different quarterback?
I think you run it back, but you have a veteran that that you're ready to give the keys to the kingdom to. Could maybe even draft a young quarterback, but I think give Tua one more shot. But if he continues to be injuries continue to be an issue, he may have to just move on. He may even retire. Who knows how bad it gets? But just like this would be a sneaky spot for Jimmy G if he's willing to not have that. He won't get the big payday probably, but he may get a chance to be the long-term starter. So, anybody with San Francisco ties would be a candidate here. I think Jacoby Brissett had a really sneaky good season with Cleveland.
Yeah, he
Uh,
did.
yeah, so his defense kind of let him down. So I think him coming back wouldn't be bad. But we'll see. I don't know what Mike McDaniel, Chris Greer, the Dolphins regime has in mind, but you definitely need to have a really solid plan B if Tua continues to get hurt.
What you got, Leo?
I'd run it back with Tua because when Tua was healthy and at his best, Tua was we were thinking Tua was up there in like top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL in terms of like this season. So I think we know the talent is there. I'd say give it 2 more years because I think they should franchise tag him. I think this may be his last year. So if not, if it might be,
I think it is.
It's the 4th year, right?
He came in the same year as Herbert.
So this will be next year will be his 4th year.
Yeah, man.
So then you franchise. I think they get that obviously pick up his 5th year option. So I think within the next 2 years they'll know whether he's that guy. I think you run it back with him though, because with the talent they spent, and we saw the 2 of the Tyreek and Jalen Waddle connections. He's in chemistry with his 2 best players at the wide out receivers. So their chemistry is there. So I don't think they should give up on it because the results haven't been what they wanted. Maybe in terms of his health, but I would definitely keep an eye on it. And like you said, maybe bringing in a veteran backup like Teddy Bridgewater. I think his best years are past him as a viable backup, respectably. And I like Teddy a lot, but like bringing in maybe a high end backup would be a very good idea. And I wouldn't say necessarily drafting the guy because it kind of. If you draft the guy, I think he's like 5th, 6th, 7th round. I wouldn't draft the guy in the first 4 rounds. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it.
Okay. As for me, I mean, you could bring it back to him, man, but you gotta watch. You gotta watch that situation, man. You gotta be careful what you do, man, because he's had what 3 concussions this season. And then he has his other injuries that he's dealt with in the past as well. So you gotta be careful. I'll bring him back, but I'm gonna have 2 options two options behind that. I'm gonna either give me a really good backup, a good veteran backup that has had some success, some source of a good sample size of success this season, throughout his career, or I'm gonna draft a quarterback. Not in the first 4 rounds, but draft one in the 5th or 7th round and develop that guy. Somebody that I believe can pick up the system quickly. Like this might sound like a hot take, but a guy like Stetson Bennett. Why not? But a guy that I think will do really well in Miami if he had to become the backup QB, Jameis. Tell me I'm wrong. Hello?
Well, I'm here. I don't know about him. Jameis would be interesting, but you've heard me say this before. Assuming Sean Payton gets a job, I think that's where Jameis is going to end up. So it's going to be interesting what happens with Tua. I believe he comes back, but I believe they'll have a quality backup there. Another guy who I'm intrigued to see what happens to, they're on the same team. If Aaron Rodgers stays, does Jordan Love get out of there? And if Jordan Love becomes a starter, what does Aaron Rodgers do? I don't know if they're candidates for the Dolphins to be part of the Dolphins, especially Aaron Rodgers. But Jordan Love would be a sneaky, interesting candidate there.
How you feel about Aaron Rodgers to the Titans, Brian?
Man, I am fine with it, but then you think I've looked at a lot of people I respect that are Titans fans on Twitter that cover the Titans, and they're saying the biggest issue is you can have Aaron Rodgers there, but if you don't have the pieces around him, it's not going to matter. And so with that being said, I'd rather just then bring back Tannehill and then go after a young quarterback, or hopefully Willis will be ready by 2024. That's what I would do.
He definitely ain't ready next year.
Yeah. This is going to be an important offseason for him. I think this is the best thing that happened. He got humbled, and and I'm not saying he was too arrogant or too arrogant. But I think he's gonna can only get better from this because I mean he was awful this year. But people said he was a project, so if people thought he was gonna be ready, then they were crazy. And also it was a poor decision by the Titans to not have a better backup until they got Josh Dobbs. But Dobbs is gonna be back. My goal for Malik Willis coming into next season that he's bridged the gap between him and Josh Dobbs. A new OC will be interesting who they hire there. I think that's going to help Willis develop too.
Okay. All right. All right, moving right along. We're gonna talk about this last playoff game we're gonna preview. I think it's the biggest one and it's the most intriguing one, in my opinion. And that's the 8-9 Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the Dallas Cowboys, the 12-5 Dallas Cowboys, down in Raymond James Stadium on Monday night. This was the first game of the regular season. This is a rematch of the first game of the regular season that was played on Sunday Night Football down in Dallas, where Tampa Bay pretty much dominated that game. And that was a game where Dak went out and people thought it was going to be the end of the world for the Cowboys this season, but they proved everybody wrong by winning 12 games once again. Go 12-5, got in the playoffs, second year in a row under Mike McCarthy, and they're back again against Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So, just give me your thoughts on this game and how it's going to play out.
Yeah, this is the game of the week. Probably the biggest game of Dak Prescott's. Well, he had the game against the Rams. That was the biggest one. But this game, and also the one against the Packers too. But you got to win this one. If you lose to the Eagles, 49ers, even the Vikings, even though you beat them earlier, you can maybe live with that. You should beat the Bucs. They're playing better, but the Bucs are definitely a beatable team. Y'all probably saw Jerry Jones' comments today about Mike McCarthy. I believe he'll be back. You saw him?
Yeah, I saw him.
All right. Yeah. I believe he'll be back, but it all depends on how it ends because Jerry Jones is desperate to win a Super Bowl. And with Sean Payton being available, Jerry Jones, I could see him making that move. That being said, I don't know if Dak is that guy to lead them there. He's good, but he's turned the ball over a lot recently. And Kellen Moore hasn't been at his best, too. It's going to be a really interesting offseason if the Cowboys don't at least make it to the second round or even the NFC Championship, what moves they make. But and Dan Quinn can also get a head coaching job too. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in Dallas. But if they at least win this game, then you can say, all right, we made some progress from last year. Obviously, we want to make it to at least the NFC Championship game. We didn't do that, but we made some progress, and we lost a team that probably ended up in the Super Bowl. But if you lose to the Bucs, then it's almost like you took a step backwards.
So you got winning it.
Oh, yeah. I got the Bucs winning. It's hard for me to bet against Tom Brady. They're gonna play good enough to beat the Cowboys, who are just inconsistent. So I like the Bucs. It'll be kind of high scoring. I like the Bucs 35, the Cowboys 31.
What you got, Leo?
I got the Cowboys in this game. I think they take that next step forward. And I'm normally don't really root for Cowboys, but I just feel like they're in a position right now to where they can really show that they're not just a regular season team, like not a temporary. This is arguably the biggest game Mike McCarthy's ever coached since his Super Bowl. Like, and I know he coached in the NFC Championship games and stuff, but this is probably the biggest game he's coached in since his Super Bowl. Like, I think he comes back regardless of the result because they're getting I don't think you fire coaches because they don't get it done in the postseason. Because if you're putting them in, keep in mind he's getting these teams to this point. So I don't think you fire coaches based off lack of postseason success if you're getting there. It'd be one thing if you weren't getting there, but he's getting there. He just have had some, last year San Francisco kind of had some some things they didn't go his way. But I think the Cowboys step up, and I think that Cowboys defense is really what makes the difference. I think Michael Parsons, um, the Bucks O line is not fully 100%. They may be getting center Ryan Jensen back, but I don't think that they're 100% right now. And I think Michael Parsons goes to work on with that, knowing that. So, and even though Brady is the goat, all good things in life must come to an end. And I think he has his second. I think this will be his third first round playoff loss. I think with the one with the Titans against the Titans, and then the one in 2010 against the Ravens. So I think this is will be his third one. So yeah, the Cowboys win. I say final score 27 to 23.
Okay. All right, man. So I'm gonna go with the Cowboys as well. I think it's time. You got you know you're playing against a really, I would say this is one of the worst teams that Brady has been a part of, despite the roster that's on it, the roster that he has to work with. It hasn't been good, in regards to their production. The line is bad, and that favors Dallas, and I think they can win this game. They can win this game. They got the weapons, the wide receivers to take advantage of Tampa Bay's secondary, that which can be vulnerable at some times. Um, you can, as some certain running backs have had success running on them as well. So I think Dallas can win this game, and I think this will be a huge game for Dak Prescott. So I got them win this game by a score of 28-17 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they will advance to the next round. But however, there's a caveat to this: if this game is close and Brady has the ball last, good luck. That's all I'm gonna say. Good luck, man, because that's the only way that Tampa has won a lot of their games this year. With the ball in his hand, Brady's hands last, the no huddle offense, the shotgun, 2 minute offense, they score. They're bound to score on any defense. So if they can keep this game from being close and don't allow Brady to have the ball in his hand last, the ball is in his hands last, Dallas will win this game, and I think they will win it by a score of, I said, 27-17, 27-17 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want to show this too. Do y'all think that this these playoffs, this game, is important for Dak Prescott's legacy? You know, we've seen this in the past with quarterbacks. Quarterbacks that made that everybody was kind of like unsure of in regards to calling that quarterback a lead, a top five, a top 10 QB to make that next step in the playoffs. We saw it happen with Aaron Rodgers when he made his first Super Bowl run. Saw it with a Drew Brees. Who else out there? Stafford. Uh, Now I won't say Brady because Brady just been going to Super Bowls for forever. But those type of QBs, Patrick Mahomes, made that next step. So I think this game is important for Dak's legacy as well. Because if he can win this game and then get to the next game, I think against, I'm not sure who they take on after that. I think it's Philadelphia, if I'm not mistaken, Philadelphia or San Francisco.
Yep.
If he can beat one of those, who? What's up?
Yeah, it's Philly.
Yeah, if he gets Philly again and they beat them as well, I mean, that would mean a lot for his legacy. So,
I
what y'all
agree.
think about that in regards to his
I agree
legacy?
with you. I agree with you. I think it's a I wouldn't say legacy on the line, but it's important. Like how we view him. Like he either gonna be like a solid middle tier guy, or he's gonna take that next jump into the elite. Like, and he has the opportunity to do that. And especially, it'd be a kind of a sentimental thing because you kind of send it Tom Brady packing. You know what I'm saying? This is a guy
Yeah,
who's a legend, and for Dak to be the guy to say, "Oh, he sent Tom Brady. He sent Tom Brady, packing. Like we know, Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback, the last quarterback to beat Tom Brady while he was with the Patriots, and so that could be the last guy to beat, you know, Brady while he's with the Bucks. Because I don't think Brady's coming back next year. So it'll be important. Like that'll be a kind of a little extra plus too, and that getting it. I think he only has one playoff win. It's important for him to get that second playoff win, because
Right.
because Tony Romo only had two in his time, and I think that legacy stuff matters, especially with teams like the Cowboys. When you're supposed to be that guy, like wins in the playoffs matter. So especially for like you talking about making that, especially with the historic history that they've had. So I definitely think that it's important for his legacy, but I wouldn't say if they lose. Let's say they lose like in a very close game. I don't think it lessens people's thoughts of him if he plays well.
Okay. Staying low, Brian.
In regards to the Cowboys,
To Dak's legacy.
yeah, you got to win this. There are a few things I wanted to say. Tom Brady, I think he's another candidate to end up with the 49ers. Also, this is an important game. You got to at least, like I said, make the second round. It'll really at least help the narrative a little bit. Obviously, ultimately, they got to get to the NFC Championship and ultimately win a Super Bowl. But also, one thing I disagree completely earlier, like you said, um, like the Cowboys shouldn't get rid of Mike McCarthy. I personally wouldn't, but Mike McCarthy wasn't brought there to make it to the playoffs. He was brought there to get them over the hump, and he's got to do that. So if he ends up continue underperforming, what's the difference between him and Jason Garrett? And when you have a guy like Sean Payton out there, it just makes you wonder, could we get him, and could he be the guy that takes us over the hump? Could he be our Bill Parcells? And I know Bill Parcells didn't do that, but if you get my point, that's what they were thinking when they hired him. So that's all I have to say.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, if you got a chance to get Sean Payton, man, go ahead and get him. You know what I'm saying? Give up your first round picks, you multiple first round selections, and make it happen. But uh, I think if that gets to a Super Bowl, man, I think that changes things. You know, if he wins it, it really changes things in regards to like where people rate him. But I got Tampa Bay losing this week, man. I think this is the end of Brady's run with the Buccaneers. It wasn't long as people thought it was going to be. You know, it lasted what 3 years, 3 years. You know, so it was nice. But next year, the NFC South will be a really bad division without Tom Brady being in it. So I think we'll have some good games this week, and look forward to seeing where I was right and where I was wrong with regards to these playoffs. But for sure, I got Minnesota, I got New York winning, and I got Dallas winning. You know, that's my big winners for this week. So we'll see how Everything gonna play out. All right, that's all we have for y'all, man. That's all. Give us a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know how you feel about the topics we talked about today. Give us your picks in the comment section below who you got winning. Also, if you listen to this through Apple or Spotify, give us a 5-star rating, leave your review on top of anything we talking about, George Pod. Have a blessed night. Peace. We out.